as local news gets. News 12, Long Island.
Joining me now to talk about this case is defense attorney Bruce Barket. You saw him in that piece right there. He's representing former Nassau Deputy Commissioner Bill Flanagan in the case. First, Mr. Barket, thanks for taking your time.
Thanks for having me.
You spoke publicly today with the media, and your client, William Flanagan, was the only of the accused that spoke today. What is his reaction to these charges?
He is appalled, as I think any fair-minded person would be, that after 30 years on the job, protecting the citizens in Nassau County, highly decorated, well-respected, that he's being dragged through criminal prosecution based on nothing more. And understand, the core of what he's accused of is having stolen property returned from the police department to the victim of the crime who wanted the property returned to them.
Well, this is a 10-count indictment, and several of those counts, 3 misdemeanors, 1 felony. They're all pointed at your client. And this stems back from an organization called the Nassau County Police Department Foundation. Allegedly, Zach Parker, the defendant who allegedly stole this stuff from JFK High School, his father inappropriately contacted the police and directed the investigation.
Well, I don't think it was inappropriate for him to contact the police, and he certainly didn't direct the investigation, and he certainly didn't direct Commissioner Flanagan to do anything. What took place here, property was stolen. Not every crime ends up being prosecuted. Not every arrest ends up being with the person doing the maximum sentence. The police officers have discretion. Let me finish. The police officers have discretion to charge or not to charge people. Just like the
isn't the DA? Isn't that the DA's role?
It's both. The DA gets to trump.
So you're saying it's okay for the police department to say, "Look, we caught this guy. We have probable cause for an arrest," but because Dad contacted us.
No, it's not because Dad contacted us. They look at the situation. It happens all of the time where. And Mr. Parker had an attorney who contacted the school who said, rather than having my son arrested, can we arrange for the return of the stolen property and restitution? Everybody went away happy. Remember, this was in 2009.
Right.
There was no outcry to have him arrested. This rose up from another situation. At the end of the day, it's an instance where somebody committed an act, the victim was made whole, and my client's sole allegation against him, 3 counts, 10 counts, however many counts. The core of what they say he did is arrange for stolen property to be returned to the victim of the crime. The victim, a school who wanted the property back over the course of the summer so they could use it in the fall for the school year.
But according to the indictment, again, this is just an accusation. Nothing's been proven yet. This is just part of the indictment. There are emails that show that Zach Parker's father was telling the detectives how to, he was saying things like, lay low. Please contact this person. In fact, we have a graphic, if we can pop this up, where your client allegedly sent an email saying that he put a detective who has a personal relationship with the principal of the school to help, and you can see the quote right there. It basically says that he told the target's father in a reply email that the detective who is charged with returning the property is on vacation, that the detective has a personal relationship with the principal, and that's why he was given the task. Do you see an issue with that?
He wants the property to be returned. We're not talking about some criminal enterprise. It's a police detective with stolen property they have in their possession because they investigated a crime, and the victim of a crime who's the school or the superintendent and the principal. And my client is saying, look, the school wants the property back. You're the father of the person who supposedly stole the property. You want the school to have the property back. We're going to try to arrange for that to happen. Forgive me, but in looking at this, given his service and what has taken place here, I don't see a criminal conduct in saying, why don't you give stolen property back to the people who it was stolen from?
What would you say to the allegation in the indictment again, saying that the school wanted to press charges? In fact, they were approached and said, here, we'll give you the property back because allegedly, according to emails, that the dad had directed them to go to the school. They went to the school, brought the property back, asked the school to drop the charges, withdraw prosecution forms, and the school said no, it's still a crime. But so that it brought the property back. I mean, that's in the indictment. So
a lot of things are in the indictment. My client was not part of that transaction, but I don't know what the district attorney's office is doing, alleging that the school wanted the case prosecuted, because their conduct tells you what they wanted. They received the property back in September of 2009 and didn't contact anybody else in the police department, the district attorney's office, or anyone else for years. In fact, somebody reached out to them 2.5 years later to say, do you remember this incident?
Does your client admit that he had at least a friendship relationship
Absolutely.
with Zach's
Absolutely.
father? Okay. And that he was taken out to dinner by him?
They took each other out to dinner the same way friends take each other out to dinner.
Okay.
They've seen.
Does your client deny the fact that he got gift cards after this investigation was over and resolved in a civil manner, not in a criminal manner?
The investigation, I guess, is not over yet because the case is still proceeding. They're friends with the Parkers. They've been friends with the Parkers. They take each other out to dinner. They go to each other's house. And the gift cards that they refer to, I think, wait till you see what the gift cards are. The implication is that this is somehow a trip around the world. When the evidence comes out as to what the cards were, what they were used for, and when they were used, it's going to end up making the district attorney's office look foolish in making allegations like this against 3 individuals who have 90 years of experience in protecting the citizens in Nassau County. 90 years between the 3 of them. And these individuals, all of whom are retiring, they're moving along, they have exemplary records. At the end of the day, I think what's happened here is the district attorney's office has tried to criminalize the discretion the police have to charge or not charge
and real quickly,
somebody.
we have to wrap up really quickly. I appreciate you coming on, but are you saying it's appropriate for someone that has a personal relationship with the father of a defendant in a pending criminal case to interject himself into that case?
It happens all of the time, and not only happens in the course of police duties, it also happens with prosecutors. I know a number of prosecutors in a number of counties. Individuals hire me, I go and I talk to the prosecutors, we deal with the cases. The test is not the personal relationship between the adverse parties. The test is whether or not any of the conduct was improper. And here, at the end of the day, my client said, why don't we give the stolen property back to the school who wants it? The school got the property back and said thank you and went on their way.
Okay. Well, it's very early on in the case. Again, these are just accusations. The indictment does dispute a little bit of what you're saying, and I know we're hearing both sides of the same coin. And again, this is very early in the case, so these are just accusations.
The indictment, forgive me, is not the Bible as to what took place here.
And I understand that as well. I appreciate you coming on and
Thanks for
your time,
having me.
and thank you very much. All right.